One of the most important pieces of advice I can give to new teachers is to learn how to manage your email inbox. I remember my first year of teaching, and it did not go so well, but that was mostly because I was not prepared for the responsibilities I would have. And even though I was used to checking my own email account, I had a school email and hardly ever checked it. This was really bad for me, especially at the beginning of the school year, because that's when you tend to get a ton of emails that are just kind of letting you know what's going on, certain meetings that you need to attend. This is what's happening with this student. You might get emails from parents, from all kinds of people, and if you're not checking those emails, you're going to slip up or mess up somehow, whether it is not checking an email that is informing you need to go to a meeting and missing out on that meeting, or having a parent email you and you never responding, and then your principal is asking, hey, did you see that email from so-and-so? How come you haven't responded yet? That doesn't look good for you. So you need to make sure that you learn how to manage your email inbox and take care of business. When it comes to managing an email inbox, there really is no prescription. There are all types of services. You may be using Outlook, you may be using Gmail, I don't know, but this video is not about teaching you how to use an inbox, how to flag emails, how to create folders, how to sort, all that kind of thing. What I want to do here is give you some practical advice for just email best practices and things you can do to make things easier on yourself. The first tip I have for you might seem extremely obvious, but it's simply to just check your email. Make sure you are checking your email every single day. I remember a time when I was working at a school and a new teacher came in, and he asked me for some advice on using Google Classroom. And I said, yeah, I can help you with Google Classroom. I'll show you how to set your classes up and make sure you have everything uploaded for your students. So I went into his classroom and got on his computer and said, well, first we need to log into Google. And he said, well, I don't know my email and password. And my response was, well, if you don't know your email and password, you can't use Google Classroom. You can't hardly do anything. You can't get into Clever. You can't check your emails. How are you going to respond to people? And this was a big problem. And he had been working at the school for several weeks at that point. And I'm like, how are you even surviving if you're not checking your email? You don't know your email and password. You got to make sure that you are checking your email every single day. And if you don't know your login information, you need to contact someone who does. Contact IT or your principal, supervisor, whoever that is, and make sure that you have that information and save that information. Make sure that you, personally, I have a document on my computer that has lots of passwords listed for school-related purposes. I also use password saving apps or password banks, vaults, whatever you want to call them, to store my information, but I always have that on hand wherever I am so that I can check my school email especially. My second tip goes right along with the first, and my suggestion is that you select a dedicated time slot or slots for checking your email. In my case, I check my emails first thing when I get to school. So that first 10 minutes that I have in my classroom is usually spent reading and sending emails. And then at the end of the day, when students are gone, if I have extra time, I might check my emails once again. But that's it. And pretty much throughout the rest of the day, I'm not looking at emails. I find that if you don't check your emails enough, you're going to miss something. But if you check your email too often, you often end up wasting time and getting distracted. Because, for example, if I'm on my planning period and I need to be working on lesson plans, printing out activities for students, whatever it is, but I decide to open up my inbox and I see an email and it's this long email that I have to read, and then I decide for whatever reason that I'm going to send a response, and I'm sitting there at the computer thinking of my response, typing, deleting. You can easily waste 10-15 minutes of time doing that. So select a dedicated time during the day, because then it will become a routine for you. And you'll know as soon as you get into school, if you follow my routine, as soon as you get in, hey, I'm about to check my emails, I'm going to see what's going on. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to check again. Let's see if there was anything that happened throughout the day, so on and so forth. It's just a good practice to have, and it helps you make sure that you're always up to date. And my third and final tip for this video is to keep emails short and sweet. You don't need to write out flowery emails. You don't need to add in extra unnecessary details. Sending emails at school is basically technical writing. You just need to get your point across in the fewest words possible. It's the difference between saying thank you and thank you very much. You can express the same thing by saying 2 words, thank you. So don't bother adding on very much to the end. That doesn't add anything to it. As a matter of fact, it actually makes your emails much worse, because when people have to read too much, they get tired. I've seen teachers who send out these long emails, these long update emails, and just all kinds of information. It's too much information. It's information overload. Nobody wants to read that. Nobody wants to read a long email. So make a habit of just keeping your email short and sweet. And you don't have to be a great writer. You just need to get your point across, try to be grammatically correct, and just say what you need to say in the fewest words possible. Don't worry about being extra, because it comes off as just being, honestly, annoying. I hate reading long emails, and a lot of other people do. You probably hate reading long emails, so why would you do that to others? So those are my top tips for managing your email inbox at school. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.